Hey cousins, happy Tuesday. I am coming to you from my living room today because believe it or not, I am fighting for my life right now and I need to go to urgent care. I'll be all right. I just need to go get a little checkup. But that being said, the show must go on and we have to react to this insane article from Politico that just came out. It is called I don't know if I can say that. I love Adolf. That's going to look crazy out of context, but basically it's about somebody saying that they love the mustache dude. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. Thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders joking about gas chamber slavery and grape. And I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say after I read these messages. Y'all know the vibes. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Welcome to Respectfully. Okay, so essentially the story here is, first of all, Politico has officially run out of things to talk about because they are pretending to be shocked that people in their 20s and 30s, when in private conversations, have dark humor. Not saying that I excuse anything that was said in this because, again, I haven't even read most of these messages yet, but I don't know why we are pretending to be shocked. These leaked text messages are apparently supposed to be very abhorrent, but to preface, it takes a lot to offend me. I'm a literal Negro, in addition to being a bleached blonde zesty coon, in addition to being an outspoken Zionist. So when it comes to picking a struggle, I have chosen all of them. It takes a lot to offend me. There's nothing that has not been said to me yet, most of which has probably been said to me by my disappointed father. And if it hasn't been said to me by him, it has been said to me by Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. If you know, you know. If you're in my generation or adjacent to my generation, you know that Modern Warfare 2 party lobbies were the most insane discourse you could have ever seen or heard in your life. If my Modern Warfare 2 lobby conversations ever got leaked, I would be on an FBI watch list. Okay, like real terrorist type of stuff. But if you know, you know. If you missed that era, you just had to be there. Or maybe you didn't have to be there. Maybe it's probably better for you in your self-esteem. But I feel like it made me a soldier in the way that I am, that I can handle any insult. This is already so unhinged. That's how you know I'm unwell. But let's get into this. So it starts off, New York. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked. But they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys. Cardi B does the same thing. Cardi B does the exact same thing. Just got to clock that real quick. And the watermelon people. That's crazy. And mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about graping their enemies and driving them to unalive themselves, and lauded Republicans who they believe support slavery. So then it goes into talking about how the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair says the word nigga a lot in various variations, which that's, again, one of those things. I'm so tired of people wanting me to be so offended by that. It's like, do I think it's ghetto and stupid? Yeah, but it's in every song. It's like literally in every rap song. People say it all the time. If you want the word to be, to go unused, then stop putting it in mainstream media in every single sector possible. So I really don't care. Like, it's one thing if he's like saying hard R in a derogatory way, but it's like, it is what it is. Like, I just can't get myself to pretend to care anymore. So it talks about Peter Greenta, who at the time was the chair of the same organization, and wrote a message sent in June that everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Let's just get straight into this context because I need to see what they're talking about. Because, again, I don't know why we're pretending like 20 and 30-year-olds don't have dark humor. Like, this is something that's very, very well known. It doesn't matter if you're left or the right. There's going to be unhinged jokes when you are in your, closer, circles. Now, I, again, can just even preface before I even get into these text messages. Having it, and it's different if you have it in a professional group chat. I think you have to, keep that cute. Like, you're not going to, you don't want to do the most. But if these are, like, very personal, like, side conversations, then I think that it was just distasteful that this was leaked in the first place. But let's just get into it. So this guy Peter goes, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, and everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber. So everybody's going to the gas chamber? I'm confused. That is what? Okay, so then someone replies, when do we start bullying, dude? Start is crazy. Then someone else goes, we have solid 3 people who can have them want to jump. We have a solid 3 people who can have them want to jump. Whatever that means. If they vote for us, why would they be gassed? Okay, so at least somebody's on the same page as me that this conversation is confusing as hell so far. Like, these people just sound like they're just yapping a yap. When do we bring that side out? I'm going to create some of the greatest psychological torture methods known to man. So again, these are clearly just like unserious people trolling in a group chat. We only want true believers. Come on. Like, if you're reading this and thinking that they're serious, like, I think you're unserious. Because mind you, these are people that aren't going to bust a grape. These are people, just first impression from these text messages, these are people that just have dark humor, Call of Duty humor, locker room humor, fraternity group chat humor type of vibe. These are not people that are going around actually conducting violence, unlike the left, where we have seen them, try to assassinate our president. We've seen them assassinate one of the most prolific leaders in our movement. We see them continuously over and over and over again lead out mass shootings and all these type of horrific events. We see Antifa, we see BLM, we see Free Palestine. We see them always constantly wreaking havoc on society. So I'm not going to pretend to be offended by these stupid text messages when I know that it's radically unserious. That doesn't excuse how unprofessional these text messages are, but I'm not going to pretend like these are the violent people that we should be afraid of. Even though the next text messages say, can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit Hitler's aesthetic. Or can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. That's wild. I'm ready to watch people burn now. Crazy. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in. Take a nice shower. Relax. Boom. They're dead. These are just kids. These are unserious kids, grown folk, but like they're immature. And if you don't think that immature people are in politics and government, then you clearly aren't watching the way our country is being run for the last at least 15 years. So scrolling down, so yeah, that stuff was stupid. Again, I understand why people are offended by it because it's distasteful, but it is what it is. Especially when you have 29, it says in here in the article, the 2,900 pages of chats shared among a dozen millennial and Gen Z Republicans, Call of Duty era, between January and mid-August chronicle their campaign to seize control of the National Young Republican Organization on a hardline pro-Donald Trump platform. Many of the chat members already work inside of government or party politics, and one serves as state senator. So it looks like one of the people leading the group chat actually did say, I am so sorry to those offended by the insensitive and inexcusable language found within the more than 28,000 messages of a private group chat that I created during my campaign to lead the Young Republicans, he said. While I take complete responsibility, I have had no way of verifying their accuracy, and I'm deeply concerned that the message logs in question may have been deceptively doctored. So I honestly don't believe that they're doctored. I do believe that these text messages are real because I know how these group texts go. Whether you're on the left or the right, you're going to have people saying unhinged things in the group text. What I care more about is, are those things actually being lived out? Which, to my knowledge, none of the people in this group chat are busting a grape. None of them are actually pushing forward with radical hatred or policies or anything of that nature. These are just people that are just locker room talking, for better or worse. Scrolling down, it says in here, 251 times mixed into formal conversations about whipping votes, social media strategy, and logistics. The members of the group chat slung around an array of slurs, which Politico is republishing to show how they spoke. Says things like the F-bomb, the N-bomb appeared more than 251 times. They must have been bored those days, because 251 times, that's just scratching the surface. So one of the next series of text messages that it shows in here, shows that this guy Alex goes, yeah, I had some back and forth with the VC in Michigan. Current chair is a deer in headlights. We have a call Wednesday. This guy Peter goes, many agree. He's the one who apologized earlier. And then the guy Alex goes, he did say, my delegates I bring will vote for the most right-wing person. And Peter goes, great. I love Adolf Hitler. We are in an era, I will say, to play devil's advocate, we are in an era where there are a lot of people that are trying to glorify Hitler. So I'm not going to downplay the severity of that too much. But at the same time, this is clearly someone that's just trying to have dark humor jokes. It's not funny. It's unserious. But that being said, it's unserious. Like, there's no way that this is not somebody actually trying to lead a genocide. We have enough people in the world that are actually trying to do that. These are just people being stupid and being unprofessional and just being sloppy. If anything, the thing that offends me the most about this is how sloppy it is, because you just made our party look so bad. These are people that I do think that should lose. I think they should lose their jobs. As I'm reading more of this, I do think that these people should not be in the positions that they're in. They're clearly unprofessional. I correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the track record of these people. I don't know these people personally. From what I'm gauging from this, it seems like they're just trolling. But regardless if they're trolling or if they actually have even a sentiment of truth in these beliefs, I do think they should be held accountable and they should be fired. I don't think that they should, have their careers completely ruined for the rest of time, unless they actually do feel this way. I don't think they have any, I don't think there's any space for them in the conservative movement. But that being said, it's just seems like a joke to me. It just seems stupid. So then you scroll down to the section that talks about vicious words for enemies, and it's just like the slur of insults that they're saying. They're throwing out, or they're throwing out the F-bomb, they're throwing out, starts against Asians. Nobody is safe. If there's one thing I can respect about this exchange, is nobody is safe. Okay, I am pro equal offending. Everybody's getting whacked with their insults in this group chat, which again is just stupid. One of the conversations that shows a screenshot here. Joe, did you look it up? This guy Joe says, just did. Probably shouldn't have on my work computer. Then Alex goes, sex is gay. And then who is this? Luke goes, sex, it was grape. And Bobby goes, epic. Y'all are going to make us never beat the allegations as people on the right. That's crazy. But again, stupid locker room joke. And it again reminds me, the best thing that ever happened to me is that my fraternity group chat that we had on GroupMe, somebody took one for the team, went in and deleted the entire group chat. And a bunch of the brothers in the house were mad at first that our pledge class group chat got deleted. But me, knowing that my future was on the line, I was so glad that it got deleted, because the jokes, the videos, the camaraderie that happens in those are just unhinged. And again, doesn't make it okay, but it is still, it's a joke. So then it starts to get into some of the more personal digs that happen throughout this conversation. It actually goes after the chairman of Young Republicans. His name is Hayden Paget, I believe is how you say his name. Really nice guy. Met him multiple times. Great dude. And it seems like he won for good reason, because Alex, clearly unprofessional, clearly unhinged, and has no business being the chairman of a prestigious organization like Young Republicans. But it goes to show that in the conversation, Alex goes, so you mean Hayden F-bomb wrote the resolution himself? And then it goes on, someone replies, grape Hayden. And the next message, even more unhinged, goes, Adolf Paget is in the F-bomb bunker as we speak, Walker said in July. And Paget responded to the chat's language in a statement. The Young Republican National Federation condemns all forms of racism, anti-Semitism, and hate. He then says, I want to be clear that such behavior is entirely inconsistent with our values and has no place within our organization or the broader conservative movement. Period, and case closed. Period, and case closed. I agree. People like him need to just be completely kicked out of the industry. I take back what I said earlier about his career not being ruined. His career needs to be ruined. Because this is crazy. He just continues to go on, calling everybody F slurs, calls Jewish people fat and stinky, just says all this unhinged stuff that is just completely unprofessional and unacceptable. I can only excuse so much. Okay, it's one thing to throw out a couple slurs here and there, but it's like when you're continuously now personally attacking certain people and you're attacking all these different delegates, it's like, okay, you are the problem. He then even continues talking about people should off themselves on the convention floor. He planned to make one of the competing Young Republicans unalive himself on the convention floor. I don't like this guy. This started funny. It's like a key, but the more I read into this, the more I'm just like, this is just not okay. This is actually bad. And I'm not surprised that the Democrats are making this as big of a deal as they are, but I do still stand behind that it's being overexposed. This seems to be a handful of bad apples in this group chat that have very dark humor, but they are just taking it too far. It's only funny to an extent. You know what I mean? Like it's only funny when it's like, a little sprinkle joke here, a little sprinkle of racism, a little dash of bigotry. But when it's just like you're talking about making people off themselves and you're just going after people individually, it's like not only is it unprofessional, it's just very distasteful. And it goes on to say at the end of the article how they already know that if the group chat ever got leaked, then they're cooked. Well, now you're cooked. Now your career's over. I am I'm for accountability being taken on the people that were a part of this group chat that were, a part of the more insane rhetoric that was happening in this, but I don't think it shows any kind of glimpse of what the widespread conservative movement looks like. I just read this in real time with you guys and I'm repulsed by some of the stuff I see on here. I think some of it is like, okay, funny, haha, kiki, dark humor, stupid toilet humor joke. But when it goes too far and when it's happening over and over again, especially in a professional group chat, I think that's just wildly reckless and your bills have now been affected, young man. In conclusion, cousins, I don't think that this is a reflection of the conservative movement. So I think that this is unserious. I definitely think that the left is going to take this and run. And if I was on the left, I would too. If I was on the left, I would make this as big of a deal as possible because it makes the right look bad. That's just how the game of politics goes. But at the same time, the left, they need to sit there and eat their food because they're the side and the party that actually does choose violence and actually does demonstrate their hate. These people that are just being reckless and immature in a group text, I'm not concerned about them, but I do think that they should be held accountable. I think that they should be fired. I don't think that they should hold any kind of valuable position, at least for a while, until they can grow up and take some accountability. But this is not, I don't think people are going to care about this in a couple months. It's just going to be another little gadget in the tool belt that liberals use as a reason to be as sensitive and pro censorship as they are. It's no different than anything that we see on the unhinged side of Twitter. Twitter, I fight for my life every single day, so I just don't care, and I don't think that this is significant. But y'all let me know if you think otherwise, and I'm going to urgent care. So I'll talk to y'all later.